Well, I said it was going to happen, and it's only gone and happened. The Sony cassette deck has been replaced, and it's been replaced by the Yamaha KX-393, which, like its predecessor, is only a two-head deck. Of course, this has invited criticism from others, like, well, why don't you get a three-head deck? Well, give me the money. I've got a Patreon account with no patrons, by the way. So, if you want me to have something, then help me. Otherwise, I'm going to have to live within my means, and that's why I've got this. It came out in the late 90s, about 97, I believe, and persisted until the early 2000s, and was their base model. Two heads, and the essentials, effectively. One thing it has, this seems to be a fashion in later years, where the traditional on-off button, power button, has been replaced by a momentary standby button. I don't understand that. It seems to be the way with most of the products here in this system. That, that's just how it is. Like the previous deck, it features, and many deck manufacturers have done this, auto tape tuning, where you drop in the cassettes, press that, and it will tune itself according to the capability of the tape that you've put in. Sony do auto tape calibration. Pioneer called theirs Super Auto BLE for bias level and equalisation, and it does its magic. And despite having that tape tuning, it also comes with a bias adjust knob, which I guess comes in handy if I'm using like a TDK AR with a slightly higher bias. I could just edge that up. And if I was using a cheapy ferret cassette, just dial it down to the 9 o'clock position to ensure a brighter response. And Yamaha decks also seem to come with play trim. If you're playing a tape that was recorded in another deck and therefore the azimuth was a little way out, the very high treble will be sacrificed, and that's where the play trim control comes in. You turn that up and it adds nice sweetness to the sound, if indeed what you're playing is lacking it. But essentially just keep that in the middle. And Yamaha decks, for some crazy reason, they seem to come with this intro scan facility, where if you're playing a tape and you press like forward intro scan, it'll fast forward, stop at the next track, play you about 10 seconds, and then fast forward again and do that for the intro of every song. What's the point? Because in every other cassette deck, if you're playing something and you press the forward button, it will stop and play the next track, which, assuming, is what you want. With Yamaha, they do it differently. They've got a button here that says mute/search, and in order to search for the next track, you have to effectively press two buttons, the mute search button and either forward or rewind, which I think is a great shame, having to press two buttons to find the next track. But that's Yamaha for you, and well, I can't really slate them because they make very fine decks. If you can't afford a Nakamichi or a Revox or any of those funky numbers, then Yamaha was always a pretty good name to turn to. And their legendary KX-580 cassette deck from years gone by won numerous awards and was very highly regarded. And in its later years came out with Dolby S included, whereas this one just has your standard Dolby B and C with MPX filter for when you record in FM stereo broadcasts. So, bog standard deck comes with what it should do and has that little annoying feature where you have to press an extra button. Right, so let's feed it some music, and I've got here a TDK SA from 1995. Virgin stock, well, new old stock they call it, thanks to Tony of Cassette Comeback. And the majority of this is royalty-free music, so we can enjoy it, really. Recorded without noise reduction too, so we can actually hear the tape and the recordings untarnished. Absolutely wonderful clarity. When it came to cassettes, the SA from TDK was certainly the workhorse. You could always depend on it for the finest quality. Okay, so let me show you. 2 buttons require pressing: mute, search and forward, and only then will it stop at the next track. Oh, Yamaha, why? Now this track came to my attention courtesy of Tony of CassetteComeback.com. Just going to forward this a bit because it takes on different personality here. All of a sudden it's gone all Oasis on us. Anyway, forward again, 2 buttons. A lot quieter in operation than the Sony deck as well. Had a very noisy motor, that one. Now, very many people on YouTube will instantly recognise this. especially those of us who watch the Techmoan channel. But then it's YouTube royalty-free music, so it's there for all of us to enjoy, so download, enjoy. Let's see what's next. This next one I think may be copyrighted, so I won't play too much of it. Nice bit of nasal flute there. This gets regularly played by Ben of the Oddity Archive channel. Anyone who is not familiar with the channel Oddity Archive, for goodness sake, discover it, do a search here on YouTube. It is a tremendous channel. I don't know, there's just something very seedy about that flute bit there. I mean, I play the flute myself, but I can't do that. Anyway, let's forward, shall we? One more for you, and this one's an exclusive. This is in fact a mashup. Spot the two songs that have gone into it. To do this, all you need is the instrumental of the Massive Attack track, Unfinished Sympathy. And then you go to YouTube, funny enough, and do a search for the a cappella version of Show Me Love. You have to synchronise the two, and I believe up the pitch a semitone on the Show Me Love. And extend a couple of phrases on the Massive Attack track. And when it's all lined up nice and perfectly, dress it off with some compression and reverb. And this is the result. Someone somewhere out there already did a mashup of these two songs, but I always found myself dissatisfied with it and sort of challenged myself to do better. And using your best skill and judgment, you can do it. I mean, seriously, if I can do this, any bugger can. It took about 4 or 5 hours. But, you know, dedication pays off. Let me show you that intro scan. Let's go back. Let's just see how it works. it's like, right, you've heard the intro of that, let's go and show you the intro of the previous track. I guess some people might find it handy. I just wonder why they have to give it, such prominence, and so many people out there will have that habit where if they're playing a track and they want to I'll think, oh yeah, great, I'll hear the beginning of this and hit back and realise to their despair that it's just rewinding as normal. Well, there you go, you can't have everything. But I'm certainly happy with this, and for all those people out there who say, you should get a 3-deck, well, I've got a Patreon account, patreon.com/Fluteboy. Pop along there, make a monthly pledge, and you can help me out with this channel. This channel can be whatever you want it to be. Okay, so there you go. A reliable cassette deck without the wow and the flusser that the previous bugger gave me. And a decent cassette. And again, if you're based here in Britain, there's a site called cassettecomeback.com where you can purchase new old stock. Of course, they won't be cheap anymore. I mean, these cassettes are about £5 each now. Gone are the days when you could pay £1.50, £2 each for them. But, that's how it is. But, pop along to that site and feast your eyes on what's available, and maybe even treat yourself. Thank you for watching.